todos. Bienvenidos, bienvenidas a esta sesión de pitching para mostrar los juegos, los finalistas del Big Indie Contest, a los mejores juegos universitarios y mejores juegos vascos. Nada, muy rápido, simplemente recordar que los pitches tienen una duración de 5 minutos y que el jurado no habla castellano, o sea que, como creo que ya habíamos hablado por correo, la idea es que lo presentéis en inglés. Yo soy Jaume Esteve, director de contenidos, y poco más por mi parte. Mucha suerte, ánimo con ello, y empezamos por los finalistas al mejor juego universitario.
Probando, probando. Not my word. Humanity lost by their own robots. And you are an experiment ferret, a clever one, which needs to escape from this island full of this metallic menace. To escape, you need to repair a boat and escape from this island as soon as possible before the bomb explodes. Now, how do you play Not My World? First of all, there is no combat at all. We wanted to provide the player intelligent experience in Not My World, so the player needs to resolve the encounter from the robots and the puzzles from the intelligence and resolve the puzzles with the many tools you provide in this game. As I said, there is puzzle with some multiple resolutions. So how do you solve these puzzles? With no combat, you have in Not My World many tools and gadgets which provides in the levels of the game to resolve this puzzle, like a flashlight, a glass bottle, or a smoke bomb. In addition to this gameplay, we have a physical inventory, a grid-based one, which the player needs to manage the pieces that encounter in the game to carry them or lift them, it depends on the situation. Now, which is the amenas, the metallic ones, the robots? First of all, we have the soldier. The basic one has a simple patrol and a cone vision which detects the player. We have the crawler, that hears the player and is fast and erratic. And the last is the phantom, which has the both senses, the sights and the hearing. In addition to these enemies, we have a static ones, which provides a solid menace to the player in the levels of the game. A basic and a fundamental pillar of the game is the night cycle, which provides a different environment but a multiple solution with puzzles and changing of the patrols of the robots.
Now that you know how to play the game, why to play the game? You play against the clock. The island has an active protocol that no matter what you do, the island would explode at the end when that timer reaches 0. So how do you get out of here, or how do you resolve this game? You need to repair your own boat through bits and pieces that you will find across the island. But you won't be alone. Throughout this adventure, you will find hidden survivors from those robots. Find them, rescue them, bring them to your shelter. Then they will give you a reward, the story about the island, and a story about themselves, their fears, their hopes, their motivations. The island itself, it's alive. They speak to you. Throughout the entire island, you will find narrative set pieces and visual storytelling that will help you guide through the story. Lastly, the island will will loop itself. This is the gameplay loop. Get out, reach the robots, gather pieces, and return to the shelter.
And this was made by 14 students from different disciplines, coordinated as a professional team for 10 months. And we made very conscious technical decisions, no lumen, no nanite, isometric camera with real perspective, no activating Unreal 5 features just because. And why? Because we wanted our own aesthetic, carefully and manually crafted. We built custom tools, editor tools for every system of the game, professional pipeline from day one. We integrated full Steam, achievements, cloud saves, and Steam input. And playtests, constant, many, from the beginning. Camera redesign, encounters adjusted, level iterated, everything tested with real players, everything improved based on real feedback. We also localized the game to all key European languages, English, French, Italian, German, and Spanish. And lastly, accessibility. Not My World is designed to be challenging, but if the standard experience isn't accessible for you, we have tools. It's not a marketing checkbox, it's a real way for players to enjoy the experience on their own terms. Available on Steam for free. Thank you.
Vale. Vamos a cerrar esto que si no se peta. Oye. Good morning. My name is Jose Javier Salazar. Thank you for being here. We are Quack Force team. We're a 4-member team. This is my technical director. Was a programmer designer for this game. We're going to start off by showing you the trailer for the game from Marauder 86. So Marauder 86, the narrative background is you're playing a prototype cyborg who's escaping from the laboratory she was created in. The game is a first-person movement boomer shooter, with PSX-style graphics, very retro, low poly, low resolution. And what we wanted to create with this game was very smooth, dynamic, and flexible parkour mechanics that were very accessible and participated in the fast-paced combat that boomer shooters are known for. Our main inspirations for these games from the era, Dusk, Quake, Unreal, and Sprawl.
So we were a tiny team with little time for working, so we went for a PSX inspired style, and we combined it with more modern rendering techniques such as bloom or chromatic aberration. We went for a very, very simple color palette. We wanted a desaturated main color with some accents for the player to spot easily the different items on the set while playing. So this is the main character, 86. She's a military robot, and she's here for destroying whatever she finds. So she has a gun integrated in her design, which is combined in two different cannons. Depending on the position for these cannons, she can shoot one type or other of ammo. This is our beauty corner. At first, we went for a bluish atmosphere, but at some point we realized that was too calm for us. So the game is frenzied, the game is fast, and we wanted something more purplish because of it could set better the mood.
So what we achieved was a very game with minimalistic controls. We had very simple systems that when they interact together, they create a deep and complex gameplay. This gameplay, in fact, is fun, not because you go through the challenges, but you find new ways to go through them. You combine your weapons and your movement to create new combos. And you can see here in some of the vignettes we have of how the movement works, how the parkour mechanics work. That's our Kimbo gun, our machine gun that slows down time. Down here you have a rail gun, which can has an area effect attack, and our shotgun that can be used as a shield and to kick you back. So this game is currently available in Chio. It's gonna be our aim is to upload it on Steam on the 23rd of December. And thank you for listening.
Hello? Yeah. Okay, well, first of all, we never knew this was too many in English, so I'm just gonna make this up. So sorry if I make it longer or anything, but let's play. Okay, so we are Masak. We are here to present you Deckbound Dungeon, our project. First of all, we'll show you the trailer. Well, as you could guess, our game, it's a mix of tower defense, in which you have to defend yourself from different ways of enemies, deck building, in which you build your own deck, as long as you play, and roguelike mechanics, in which when you die, you're dead, and you need to replay it again. So that foments or improves the replayability. Sorry, I'm just trying to think now on this. Okay, so we wanted to make clearly separate the phases of the game. So we have the preparation phase, which would be the most strategic one. So you need to put the traps in the tiles of the map based on the information of the enemies that are going to come in the next wave. So you need to plan your strategy accordingly to the enemies coming. And then once that's done, you need to go to you need to progress to the combat phase, in which enemies arrive and your strategy proves working or not. Also, you can play some action cards, we call them, in which you can apply some nerfing to some enemies or power-ups to your own player, and so on. Then once you complete a wave, you can choose among 3 different cards as a reward. And also the enemies release gold, in which you can invest in the merchant once you defeat a hero, which are the bosses of the game. Okay, and this way you get the progression, because in the merchant, you could see that in that GIF, you can buy items to expand your dungeon or to increase your power. Like you can buy souls, we call them, to be able to summon more cards or more powerful ones. Okay, so which makes our game unique or different to the other ones? So the combination of genres, tower defense and deck building, in which you defend your dungeon with unique cards, also discovering synergies with the cards, and trying to find your best way of play, or your best play style, sorry, that would be it, as long as you play, and also getting special rewards when defeating the heroes. As we said, they're the bosses, and you get like special items that allow you, again, to custom your dungeon according to your style, because each new room gives you a different bonus, let's say. So in the end, you get to set or design your own dungeon. So that would be it. We are Masak, and this is the 5 of us. Here you have our social media content, but we can obviously talk later, and I hope you like it. This is the QR for the each EO. You can download and play the demo there, and that would be it. Thank you.
O sea, okay. Well, I apologize beforehand for the non-Spanish speakers because due to miscommunication, everything I'm about to say is in Spanish, so I am really, really sorry. But I encourage you to come by our stand. I will explain anything you need to do, and if you want to play our game, we'll be glad. Vale, pues buenos días a todos. Me llamo Álvaro y vengo a representar a Recife Games. Somos un grupo de desarrollo de alumnos graduados de VIC. Él encarna a Zeb, el más joven y último pescador de Isla Mutu. Está siguiendo los pasos de su abuelo y su legado para devolver la isla a su antigua gloria. Para ello deberá traer nuevos habitantes y pescar los peces que pueblan sus aguas. Por supuesto, para acompañar a Zeb hay un elenco de variados personajes que irás conociendo, como un codicioso erizo de mar o una cantante estrella del pop Metusil. Por supuesto, no todo esto va a ser fácil, pues muchos de ellos deberán ser convencidos con unos métodos menos convencionales. Para ello deberás derrotarles en un duelo de pesca, en un tira y afloja, para que se unan a tu causa. Una vez hecho esto, la historia seguirá avanzando según vayas derrotando a los distintos bosses. ¿Y qué es Zeb? Zeb es un juego de aventuras 2,5D que combina la pesca con microjuegos y los combates contra jefes, con un tono casual y desenfadado y un carismático y destacable estilo Papercraft, muy a lo Paper Mario. ¿Y cuál es la misión aquí? Zeb, nuestro protagonista, la tiene clara. Tiene que atraer nuevos vecinos a la isla y repoblarla al tiempo que se convierte en el mejor pescador. ¿Y cómo se pesca? Vale. El sistema de pesca de Zeb se basa en minijuegos rápidos que debes ir completando y una vez completados se te otorga el pez. Estos peces luego pueden ser vendidos, registrados, donados al museo o se los puedes dar a el vecino que te los haya pedido. Pero claro, no todos estos vecinos se van a unir a ti por las buenas. Muchos de ellos tendrán que ser convencidos con un poco de esfuerzo. Para ello, deberás retarles en estos duelos de pesca y Una vez sobrepasada la batida inicial de ataques y sobrevivir al ataque final, se unirán a tu causa, la isla crecerá, se expandirá y se desbloquearán nuevos objetivos. ¿Qué queremos a futuro? Queremos hacer más minijuegos, más jefes, más vecinos que conocer y más peces que pescar. Hemos estado trabajando este año para tener este juego como una base estable y limpia de lo que queremos. Hemos estado visitando también distintos eventos para buscar y conseguir todo el feedback y poder conseguir capital que necesitemos, al tiempo que mejoramos todo nuestro proyecto con lo que nos van dando. Ahora bien, eso sería todo. Para cualquier duda o consulta, por favor, no dudéis en preguntar o pasaros por nuestro stand y nada más, a pescar.
Okay, first of all, I'm sorry for my voice. I'm a little bit under the weather. Cold is too cold. First, let me thank you all for coming. My name is Álvaro Lasso, and I'm here to talk about Dorothy's Job from the behalf of my team, Bola 13 Studios. Let's put ourselves in our fantasy world where Lord Chaos, the evil lord, is conquering everything, and nearly all hope is lost. He's too powerful. However, there might be a weakness. If he's conquering everywhere, his mansion is left unchecked. People have gone, tried to come back with schemes, treasures, but nobody comes back because that's your job. That's Dorothy's job. She defends the mansion and keeps it clean so she can earn her paycheck. Dorothy's Job is an arcade and frenetic twin-stick shooter where you play as Dorothy. She's a one-woman army and the evil lord's housekeeper. What's her job? Her job is to combat and clean the mansion and keep it clean from both monsters and dirt. This won't be an easy task because there's enemies. Oozers will leave trails of liquid dirt, dust bunnies will leave mountains of dirt, and gremlins will help them do this job. However, you're not alone. You're equipped with your incredible arsenal, your fear-inducing weapons, your dual sprayers, Wash and Flashy, your incredible mop oppressor, your invincible vacuum cleaner, Terminator, and your duster, Dusty, who is much more impressive in game, believe me. Select 2 of them, 1 for liquid dirt, 1 for dust, and jump into battle. But you'll also have consumables. These will help you do your job more efficiently. For example, Dorothy, which is a very loyal cleaning robot that will clean while you're fighting, or the Clean 4, which is a mine, then when touched, it'll explode, obliterating everyone. Keep your consumables and your weapons of choice that best fit you and jump into battle. What's our curl loop? Well, in Dorothy's Job, first, as I've already said, you'll select your arsenal in the hub. Then you'll start cleaning, combat, cleaning, combat. Everything before the time runs out in a frenetic style gameplay. And once you finish the level, you'll uncover the secrets our story has for you. These levels that I've already said, the game has 10 levels. Each one is procedurally generated, so there's never the same level twice. It has semi-random enemy spawns that adjust to the difficulty of each level, and it joins everything in a mansion-like layout to encourage fast gameplay, opening every door possible. It uses 50 different rooms, each one of them unique, each one of them tell a story, each one of them makes everything feel alive and have little details that will make you laugh. All this so that you really feel inside Dorothy's world. Beware of the ducks. They're really scary. So, what is Dorothy's Job then? Dorothy's Job is an arcade twin-stick shooter in 3D with isometric view, where the story unfolds during 10 days or levels, where a procedural generation will make it harder and harder for you. It is a race against time, so don't take your time. And it has a Victorian aesthetic with lots of humor inside dialogues and the ambience. Thank you very much. Play it on Steam. Finish the job. Dorothy's job. Thank you.
Hello everyone, we are Crimson Covenant and we're here to talk about Inside the Crow's Nest. First of all, let's show the trailer.
In the depths of the forest, in a place abandoned by time, something ancient is awakening. A darkness once thought exiled now stirs beneath the roots. So old that humankind has forgotten its name. No trace remains of how to stop it. It has been patient, careful, feeding, growing stronger. And now, it's ready to return. All it needs is the final sacrifice.
Inside the Crow's Nest is a fixed camera survival horror game made for fans of the classics of the genre. The game follows a hunter that gets kidnapped by a cult and must not escape to avoid being a sacrifice to their eldritch god. So why should you play? The main reason is the nostalgia factor, but even if you didn't grow up with these games, the challenging puzzles, the immersive and cinematic feel that you get from the music and the environment, and the beautiful hand-painted style is a good reason to play. What will you do in the game? You will explore the cult's monastery and discover its secret, gather clues and collect key items. You will solve puzzles that block your path and test your ingenuity. And lastly, you will do everything to survive, by either fighting or avoiding the dangers of the cult.
Regarding the artistic direction, our main focus was the hand-painted style and highlight the brushstrokes visible across all the models. For the grim ambience, we used the saturated colors with the red and the magical elements as the only exceptions. Regarding the enemies, we have three main types. The Worshipper, which is the most common and has an average HP and speed, and is often found patrolling and changes the attire depending on the zone it resides. The Pilgrim is also found patrolling but has lower HP and enhanced speed, which we'll use to chase and hunt you down. And finally, the Bulwark. It's the enemy with the highest HP and the slow one, but their attacks are destructive and almost lethal.
Behind the monastery's walls, there are three different kinds of zones. The first zone is the dungeon. The dungeon is the first zone of the game and is the darkest of the monastery. Its green palette and its claustrophobic hallways makes the player feel trapped in it. After escaping the dungeons, the player will arrive to the library. The library is covered in books and filled with messy rooms and maze-like hallways. The player will have to search every nook and cranny of the library if he wants to get out of it. And finally, the last zone of the game is the church. The church has a reddish color palette in order to make it feel more aggressive and closer to the cult's god. You know something's going to happen there. And that's about it. I hope you like our presentation. And if you want to play our game, feel free to play it on Steam for free.
Hi there. Okay, there we go. I will make this brief because there's only 5 minutes and it is the last presentation, so you're pretty much really tired at this point. But yeah, The World's Blessing is a short, story-driven exploration and environmental puzzle game in which you get to explore this mystical sanctuary of the Old Well as you reconnect with 2 childhood friends, which you haven't seen in a while. You will meet quirky characters and discover the mysteries of this sacred place as you learn more about yourself and your friends and ultimately try to find your place in the world. In a short way, maybe a quick way of explaining this game is a mixture of a short hike, Night in the Woods, and The Witness. And we're aiming for a PC build for now, and the total play time will be between 3 and 4 hours. And yeah, we're looking for financing and the whole publishing deal. I'll play a short trailer so you get an idea of the atmosphere and everything. Okay, let me get the... Okay. There we go. No? Okay. So for context, this game plays around this space, Sanctuary of the Old Well, and there's ancient superstitions going around about the Old Well capable abilities of changing our life and starting anew. And after a really severe fire and restoration process, it opens its doors again, and many animals are coming here to visit to have a nice hike or to maybe try the luck. And in this context, these 3 animals, these 3 friends which haven't seen each other for a while, come into contact by chance, and they will work together to get to this ancient Old Well together and make their wish. Oh wait, did it? Let me get this on full screen again. Oops. Okay. So yeah, about the whole gameplay loop, it's quite simple. There's like 4 main areas in this open environment, and the gameplay consists in getting into a new area and exploring it in this 3D environment at your own pace, while talking to both visitors and locals who are around there, but also your peers, your 2 friends, who will be spontaneously talking about stuff as you go, reacting to what you're seeing, trying to emulate what a real hike would look like. And in this regard, you will gain knowledge about this place, each area, which will have its own main puzzle. And it's through these clues about the place that you will learn all these hidden, at plain sight, kind of concepts, ideas that will actually reveal how you solve this puzzle. And this will consist with a really simple mechanic of picking up objects and delivering to specific people or places. So when it comes to the actual characteristics of the game, one of the first ones, I've named it Inner World Exploration, as it's using this open world exploration experience to actually exteriorize an inner exploration of narrative development, mainly based on these 3 characters as they get to know each other more. We really want to get this idea of getting lost and trying to find your own way. The audio-driven puzzles I was talking earlier, they take form as these ancient ritualistic offerings which were long forgotten. And in a way, the natural park, the sanctuary, we talk metaphorically to these 3 teenagers through the fauna and flora, guiding them to solve these puzzles which are on the place to help them reach this ancient old well. We're also exploring this kind of coming-of-age story, really building in this middle tone between introspection but also lightheartedness, trying to get to know these characters. It's a really character-driven game. And also we're building on top of this like retro aesthetics, but trying to bring you to your own homecoming, but also with this more refreshing look and with a beautiful, gorgeous, interactive soundscape that reacts to everything. And we really want to create this idea of that the park is alive in a way. So yeah, when it comes to the team, this game was born as my thesis project in audiovisual communication in Pompeu Fabra in Barcelona. And I worked solo dev for a year and a half, and some months ago I have teamed up with some really amazing peers who are really diverse. They come all from different backgrounds, from film, I come myself, animation, even political sciences. Like there's nobody who studies video games, and we're all together for a love for alternative storytelling. And yeah, we're being accelerated by Power Up Accelerator, which is an accelerator here in Spain for women and LGBT-led teams, and also Gameplay, which is a university incubation program for alternative games. I won't cover this because like any other teams really did this, so I'm gonna skip this altogether. But yeah, we've done our market study, trying to find a unique place. And we also had the chance to be finalists in Best Narrative this year in India Day, and also to be showcased in the No Play this year, which is a lovely festival. But yeah, pretty much we also have like stuff numbers and like timeline, but I don't think this is the focus right now, considering the other teams. But yeah, if you have any would like to talk with me, I'm just here. We have our standards there as well, so I'd love to talk. And thank you for listening, and we'll see each other in the sanctuary. Thank you so much.
Bueno, muchas gracias. A continuación van a presentar sus candidaturas, mediante sus pitches, los juegos a candidatos al premio al mejor juego vasco. En este orden van a estar The Longest Road Games, Recife Games y Amets Games. Bueno, si no lo digo bien, disculpadme, lo corregís en escena. Word of warning for our judges. For the convenience of the next presenter, I'll be doing the translations. He'll present in Spanish, and I will do my best to convey his words in the best possible way. It will be a bit less agile, so sorry about that, but we'll do what we can. So, fuerte aplauso para The Longest Road Games. Tecnología de última generación, como podéis ver. There we go.
There we go. Sorry for the inconvenience. Hola, me llamo Dani, vengo en representación de Runomicon, que es un juego que estamos haciendo en Teller Games junto con Joystick Ventures.
He's Danny from The Longest Road Games, presenting Runomicon by The Longest Road Games in cooperation with Joystick Ventures.
Okay. Runomicon, el punto fuerte de Runomicon es que tenemos una mecánica muy sencilla que es unir puntos, que es algo que hacemos desde pequeñitos y todo el mundo sabe hacer. Además, con el patrón del móvil todo el mundo está acostumbrado.
The game is based in a very simple mechanic. You have to connect the dots, just like you did when you were kids, just like you do to unlock your phone.
Lo que nosotros hacemos es exprimir esa mecánica al máximo en un original y complejo juego de dibujar runas arcanas para invocar dioses antiguos mientras nos defendemos de oleadas de enemigos enfurecidos en un entretenido tower defense.
What the game does is incorporate this very simple mechanic into a more complex tower defense game. You have to connect the dots to what's the word?
Dibujar runas arcanas. Draw arcane runes.
Yeah, draw arcane runes so as to do these spells that summon elder gods into your realm to defend your complex.
Yes. Os pongo ahora el trailer.
Cast spells. That was the word I was looking for. Sorry.
No te preocupes. Vale. Una vez visto el tráiler, que espero que os haya gustado mucho, por lo menos llamado la atención, voy a intentar resumir un poquito el objetivo del juego y los diferentes elementos que tenemos en pantalla.
He's going to do a summary of the different elements of the game, of the UI, all that you can see on screen.
El jugador deberá dibujar runas para ganar arcano, que está representado por la barra superior de la pantalla. Cada vez que completemos la barra, romperemos uno de los sellos. Y una vez roto todos los sellos, invocaremos al dios.
So you have to cast these runes to fill the meter that you can see in the above section of the screen, the upper section of the screen. As you advance on that bar, you break and unlock the seals. You need to break all the seals so as to summon the ancient god.
En la parte de abajo de la pantalla ayudamos al jugador con una serie de chuletas, de runas, que le dan al jugador la oportunidad, pues, de saber qué es lo que tiene que juntar con esos puntos.
In the lower section of the screen, you can see the different runes that cast all the different spells that the player can use to advance in the bar and break the seals.
Yes. Como podéis ver, en la parte derecha de la pantalla tenemos la mayor parte de la información. Ahí es donde tenemos el libro para mejorar el ritual, las runas para el dibujado de las runas y las velas para activar las magias.
In the right side of the screen, you can see the most information, the most useful information for the player. One is the book that you're using to cast the spells. Then you have the dots that you have to connect to cast the runes, and some candles that you use to cast the spells.
Yes, you have to use the candles to activate the magics that we are available.
Yeah, you use the candles to activate the final effect of each spell.
En la parte central tenemos la primera línea de defensa, que son las gárgolas que atacan por sí solas, y luego la puerta, que es nuestra propia vida.
In the middle of the screen, you can see the main defense systems of your castle. One is the gargoyles that are defending the gate, and then the gates themselves, who act as some sort of life bar for the player.
Yes. Okay. El jugador tiene distintos elementos que deberá practicar, o sea, poner en práctica si quiere sobrevivir. Tenemos muchas runas, muchas de ellas tienen distintas habilidades o maldiciones. Que no funciona.
There are a lot of different elements that the player can use. There are aggressive spells, aggressive runes, defensive, also curses, and you have to kind of practice them to get the hang of them.
Yes.
Hey, I'm back.
Tenemos el libro que nos permite mejorar el ritual conforme avancemos en el mismo.
Then with the book you can improve the ritual during the ritual itself.
Yes.
So you can make it more powerful.
And we have many different magics which are given to us. Uy, me he puesto en inglés. There are many different magics which are given to us by the many different gods we are summoning.
Now I should translate you to Spanish.
Lapsus. Vale, luego tenemos lo que es la guarida, que es una especie de mazmorra, un lobby que tiene el jugador para mejorar las habilidades de forma permanente, practicar en la sala de entrenamiento o chatear hablar con la diosa de la muerte.
This is your evil lair, a dungeon that acts as the player's lobby where you can practice your skills, improve, level up your different skills, and, well, as I said, practice your spells to get the hang of them.
Es en el monolito central donde podremos elegir el siguiente nivel, en la piedra del centro.
And that's also the place where you can choose the next level you want to play.
Tenemos 7 tipos de mundos diferentes. Tenemos bosques, montañas, pantanos, ciudades. Todos ellos, conforme vas avanzando en el ritual, irán cambiando de elementos. Pasará a ser de noche, habrá tormentas, empezarán a salir llamas, además de que cambiarán sonidos de forma gradual y la dificultad irá poco a poco aumentando.
They are dynamic in different ways. Weather, night, fire can change the conditions. You get different sounds to to go with the new situations, with all the changes in the levels, and they also escalate in difficulty. So each level is different every time you play.
Bien, pero no solo somos un equipo que va a lo loco intentando que todo esto funcione mágicamente, que también. Tenemos varios sistemas y muchos datos que tenemos que organizar y eso es lo que hemos estado haciendo.
There's a lot of different systems in place. It's not just magic. There's math behind all these systems supporting everything, and that's what they have been doing in the game as of lately.
Tenemos un editor de niveles que nos permite de manera muy visual manejar las distintas oleadas, el tiempo entre ellas, las pausas entre las propias oleadas y cualquier requisito que necesiten.
They've got a level editor that they can use to program the different waves, how many enemies they include, all the details of each wave of enemies.
Okay. Cada desbloqueo, cada recompensa está documentada y organizada para saber en todo momento qué es lo que tiene disponible el jugador.
And there's also a lot of spreadsheets, as you can see, so they can know what the player has at every single moment.
Vale. Hay muchos datos que podría estar hablando muchísimo de ello ahora, pero no tenemos tanto tiempo, por lo que saber que el juego es mucho más grande de lo que aparenta. ¿Vale?
Game's way bigger than it looks, and I'm sure they invite you to play it because it's available in the floor show.
Tenemos eso.
Ya te dejo la última palabra.
We have a very interesting lore, boss battles, and many cinematics that aren't showed in the presentation. And well, I hope you can play the game to discover them. So thank you very much, and sorry for the inconvenience.
Hello, hello. Well, I'm gonna try to do my best in English. Excuse me because the slides are in Spanish. I'm Suyai Charles, a lead designer and programmer in Numbra. We are from Amairo Studios, and we are a small team of recently graduated students from the IPN Bilbao. And well, let me present our game. Numbra is a 3D action adventure game in which you'll be controlling Lucy, which is a young girl fighting against her biggest fears, the Cyclopes. Our main references are Little Nightmares, especially with regards to the character, the player controller. Also inside is a great example of this genre of games which explain the story in the atmosphere and also with everything that happens around the player instead of telling the story directly, and also a great puzzle game. And Somerville, which is also a great example of how lighting and cameras can affect the game, making it very cinematographic and making it visually very appealing. The game loop in our game is based on exploration. Even though the game is basically linear, we give some kind of freedom to the players so they have a chance to explore and try to understand what's happening in the weird world of Numbra. And then we will let them use the main mechanics of the player to resolve some puzzles and get through the different spaces. And the action moments will come with the Cyclopes, which will try to catch you, and there will be stealth and action moments. In Numbra, there's a single rule: is to stay awake. For that, you will have to avoid being seen by the big Cyclops around there, which have a big light focus, and you will have to avoid being seen so you don't get caught and fall into an eternal sleep. This is our main antagonist, which will be involved in the main stealth scenes of the game, and if he catches you, you will be falling asleep deeply. He is also the responsible of controlling the other Cyclops who want to catch the last human alive, which is Lucy, our protagonist, and they will be involved in the more action scenes and persecutions. Also, with regard to exploration, we have the world of Numbra is set in a city in which we will be able to explore a cinema, a parking lot, and city. Also, the main mechanics of the player will be to pull, to push, to interact, and jump and climb. And with those mechanics, they will be able to solve different puzzles and get through the world. For example, in one of our most the best scenarios in our game, which is the cinema, in which the player will have to use their intelligence and agility to avoid being seen and go through it. The game was released on Steam this year and has had huge amount of we're very happy with the reception it has, with more than 33,000 players and more than 200,000 additions in the library, which makes us think that it has, games like this with such big personality and in a genre that's not very popular have a very welcoming place in the market. And these are also some of the recognition we've had during the past months, and we'll have two other finalists in the big conference here. And now, before finishing, I'm going to play the trailer. And one last thing before leaving, I just wanted to mention that we are currently planning on redesigning the game, where we are just finishing the redesign, and we're planning to create an extended and more polished version of the game. So we are looking for opportunities to do so. And this is it. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Borja from Amets Games. And I'm going to show you the project we've been working last year, Tonale. In an Aztec world governed by gods, you are Solin, this kid, this 12-year-old kid that is chosen among all human to do these sacrifices in the name of gods. Make these sacrifices, he uses these creatures that are conscious animals that can transform into human. And one night, one of these creatures sneaks into his room with the idea of killing him, but something happens and your souls link, so one can't survive without the other. So you have to cooperate to go back to normal. And it's here where the game starts. As I told you, you have to control. You have these two characters that you have to control at once, and that's the main mechanic of the game. The control. With the left hand, you have to control the child. That represents the health, so you have to avoid enemies and protect him. And with the right hand, you control his shadow, this panther that was linked to him. That has to perform their attacks and protect the kid, because that's his life too. And we think that this mechanic is like quite innovative and can be a flow of fresh air on the genre. As you can see, once you defeat enemies, these monkeys, they leave their soul behind them, and the kid, Solin, can perform these sacrifices with those souls. This, in the combat system, just helps you up, but we want that all these sacrifices and all the actions that you do with each of these characters have a big impact on the character progression and on the script of the game. And it is up to the player to choose whose interests to please. Because, sorry, for example, with these sacrifices, if you choose to sacrifice the Huchis, these creatures that I told you before, you improve Kid's powers and these divine abilities that he has, and you stop the divine punishment that started once you left the city. But if you choose to forgive these souls and stop doing sacrifices, your relationship with the panther gets better, and also with all the Tahuchis, which empowers the shadow powers and make you be able to reach different places that if you don't, you aren't able to. Okay, as you can see, as you can see, the relationship between these two characters is like a key on the game. So we wanted not just on the, we wanted to build everything around this control and these two characters. So all the game is dubbed. We have a voiceover of these two characters that are all the time talking to each other. So we can develop the relationship in a more organic way. And because we have two characters that are really confronted. On one hand, we have the kid, that's a 12-year-old kid that doesn't know what sacrificing means. He just wants to paint and play like any other 12-year-old kid. And on the other hand, we have Jumbo, that's the panther, that refused to all the beliefs that all the other Tahuchis told to him, and he found like in any context is justifiable killing a kid, even that this kid was the one who made the genocide of all these creatures that were from his species. And these two worlds colliding and getting to know each other are between these two characters is what fires the first spark of revolution against gods. So we will be around all the game, like getting to this revolution. And to make this, we decided to choose this stylized aesthetic, because it inspires on all this Aztec mythology, because not only we think that it's like a really deep mythology with which we can use, but we also think that it's like underused, and we think that in the industry we don't see this that much often, so it brings us a big identity in this competitive industry that we have. And then we also think that the Aztec mythology, the Aztec mythology's main thematic, that is sacrifices, fits really well with the story we want to talk about. Because on one hand, we have the kid sacrificing his his teenage because he's a chosen kid that he doesn't want to. On the other hand, we have Jumbo that sacrifices the beliefs of all his species just to save a kid that he doesn't know. And then we have the biggest sacrifice that is from these two characters together that decide to defeat a corrupted system that doesn't want to be changed, facing gods and kings, when having both bands against them, human and Tehuchis. So this is like the biggest sacrifice that represents all the game and gives soul to Tonali. So I hope you liked it.
That was all for the pitches of the big contest. Thank you very much for the judges for their time here. Gracias también a todo el público que habéis estado presente en estos pitches. Hasta aquí hemos llegado con esta parte de la mañana.